Why can't I get market price for my cards? Everyone's trying to take advantage of me. Can you believe that? Someone offered me 60, 70% for my collection. There's like 400 cards here. It's worth $800. 60%. I'd never. People are out here scamming. I don't know. What's up, guys? Welcome. My name is TJ. I run a business called Pokepaster TCG and document my journey into this crazy, shiny cardboard world that is selling Pokemon cards, and I help you guys do the same. So this is my pitch. If you love the alphabet, and you really gotta love the alphabet, I'm saying you and the letter J, you guys better have a real intimate relationship because you're gonna be doing a lot of sorting. I hope you like little symbols that you can be like, oh, this is Crown Zenith, this is Brilliant Stars, because you do a lot of that. It's funny, I typically just sort stuff by set that's Sword and Shield or newer. So Sword and Shield era cards, I have those sorted by set. Scarlet Violet era cards sorted by set. And then everything older than Sword and Shield, I just have those all alphabetized, like all of them. Just throw it into the vintage category. And I probably bought $10,000 worth of cards over the past few weeks. Last week rather, and so many of them are like older cards, like XY Sun and Moon era, and so I've got just hundreds of them, and they're all just sitting over here in the sorting tray, just like probably 500 cards that I'm just sorting all by alphabet, not broken up at all, and it's a lot of sorting. You sort it all by A, and then you got to alphabetize all the A's, and yeah, it's cool. But yeah, if you want to enter into the crazy Pokemon card selling space, you can do a lot of sorting and make some money, and it's a good time. But I did want to have a conversation today just with you guys about market price. What is market price? How do you get market price for your cards? If you're here and you're frustrated that someone lowballed you with an offer that you thought was completely unreasonable, how could someone ever give me 70%, 60%? This is my collection. I don't know. I've heard all sorts of things. Negotiating is actually part of the process that I enjoy quite a bit, but sometimes it's like educating, and when you get in that educating space, sometimes people are get a little combative. But market price is a term that gets thrown around a ton in the hobby. And so what is that? That is simply put, people on TCGplayer, or people kind of refer to market price as like, this is the TCGplayer market price. And that's the value that people would associate with a certain card. And even if people don't sell on TCGplayer or aren't familiar with that platform, usually that's still the price that they would use to determine the value of a card. Sometimes you might hear some people like throw around eBay like last sold, and that's cool too, but since that's just like whatever the last sold item was on eBay, there's a little more fluctuation there because there's no average. But I looked it up, and so basically over the past few days of sales, TCGplayer averages all of those sales that happen for a card, and that's how they get to market price. And so some cards might be purchased from a reliable seller who sells in the direct program, and so that's going to be a more expensive card that's above market price. Someone might take a chance on buying from a seller that's brand new and has no feedback, and so that might be under market price. And so market price is like the average of the cards that have sold over the past few days. So for instance, I got this. Look at this beautiful, beautiful card, Articuno. Not the best Kanto bird. Zapdos is. Articuno is cool though. Moltres is kind of overrated, but this card from Journey Together, I just looked it up, market price, $19.66. So that means over the past couple of days, I don't know how many sales there have been, I could have looked it up, but all of those sales, like the average of that is $19.66. And that's always changing because, more cards are being sold. I sold this one last night, so this isn't mine anymore. Someone bought this. I'm going to have to send it off. Someone bought mine, I think, for $23.80 or $23 something, so over market price, but it's through the direct program, so I pay extra fees on that, yada, yada, doesn't matter. And so sometimes things sell higher, sometimes things sell lower, but if someone has a collection of cards, right, so not just this Articuno, but they've got a binder, a beautiful, card guardian, something like that. What's the one I'm thinking of? Vaultex. Someone has like a Vaultex binder with hundreds of cards like this Articuno, right? And they're like, hey, I put this into the collector app, which collector app uses TCGplayer market price as well. Or I put this into like the TCGplayer app, and it told me that in this binder, there's $1,300 worth of cards. I'm gonna go take this to a card shop. I'm gonna go take this to someone I know who buys Pokemon cards, and I'm gonna get $1,300. And that's where if you've been around for a while, you're like, ha, yeah, man, you are not going to get $1,300. Which, by the way, I buy collections. I bought collections from some of you guys. If you guys are watching the channel more, not necessarily to get into the business space, but you're just like watching the journey and learning, and you have collections or items that you want to sell, I'll buy your stuff. I will. You send me an email, pokepastortcg@gmail.com, and I will shoot you an offer and I will buy your stuff. And I won't be buying it at market price. Usually 60, 70%, 70% I would say is my average. But that person with that binder, $1,300 worth of cards, is not going to get $1,300 for that collection. And here's the part that I think is very fascinating, is that people often want market price for their card when the people who are making the sales on TCGplayer, which is what market price comes from, right? Market price comes from sales on TCGplayer. Those people that number is made out of, those transactions, those sellers are not even getting that market price for those cards because they have to pay fees, right? They pay the TCGplayer marketplace fee of 12, 13, 14, 15%, whatever it ends up being, right? And then they also have to ship it. They got to ship it out there. So however you would calculate that. And so for someone who's like, hey, my Blastoise EX from 151 is $60. I want $60 for this card. Unless someone wants it for their personal collection, which they might not want to buy that. That's where if you're looking to sell one card and get market price, there's a decent chance you could do that. Heck, if you even have a couple cards and they're desirable cards that you want to sell and you want to get market price, maybe you can do that locally. But the likelihood of you being able to take your hundreds of cards and get the market price value for them, that's just not going to happen. Because if me and I sell on TCGplayer, I've got thousands of sales, I've got good feedback, I'm a gold star seller and in the direct program, all of that. If I have your collection and I sell it, I'm not going to get $1,300. I'm going to have to pay fees. I'm going to have to pay to ship it. I'm going to have to do all that. And so when someone comes and buys your collection or offers you 70% or 60% or whatever, what they're basically doing is, this is kind of a stretch, but they're basically acting as a consignment service where they're going to sell their cards for you, but they're going to pay you your cash up front. So essentially they're just buying your card and selling it. But they're going to sell that card, this Articuno right here, right? And they're going to get 85%, 90%, depending on how they price their cards, whatever. And if they bought at 70%, they get 90%. They make 20% of the card's value in profit, right? Now, the thing that doesn't get taken into account there is oftentimes those cards that you acquire as a seller in collections, you're going to be sitting on them for a while. Like they're going to be collecting dust, not collecting dust, but they're going to be sitting over. Let me just rifle through these and see if I can find any that I've had. I mean, I move stuff pretty quickly. Yeah, sure. This is kind of cool. Mega Lucario EX, cool, yay. I've had this one for a couple months, probably hasn't sold. What else here? I got some shiny ones. A couple Umbreon GX full arts. Those are cool. Like I've held on to those for a little while. Those haven't sold. And so these people got cash, got 70% cash for the cards, and I'm still, sitting on them, right? These ones are cool. I don't know how much these are. I think they're kind of expensive. Pikachu on a ball. Pikachu on a ball, anyone? Little promo action. I didn't even know this was a card, but apparently it's like, I don't know, $100, something like, or 50. I don't know how much this card's worth, but I got it at 70%, whatever that is. And so the person that I bought these cards from, they just have the cash. They probably already spent the cash on something kind of cool, and that's awesome. And I'm still waiting for them to sell, which I'm totally fine with, by the way. Like I don't need to move all these cards instantly. Like I can wait until they sell. In fact, I don't want them to sell immediately because if I sell them immediately, that means that I probably had them priced too low. That's a video for another time, turnaround rates and stuff. But I can't like just immediately demand that someone pay me market price for these cards because that's just not how it works. I've got these listed and have been listed at market price, some of these cards for a little while, and they just, don't sell or, yeah. So I guess my point in this is that if you are a collector and you are expecting someone to pay you market value for your, 50 plus, 100 plus number of card collection, that's not going to happen. And I don't think it's taking advantage of you to offer you 60 or 70% for that collection. And if you think that that's unfair, you can do what I do, and you can sell cards, and you can get your money from TCGplayer, and then you can determine if I'm, a moron, or if I'm, wrong, or whatever. But yeah, and if you are in the seller space, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you have handled those situations with people that you've been negotiating with, where they say, you're trying to take advantage of me. I know how much my cards are worth. Like, whatever, you're a scalper, and you get all the stuff right. So hopefully this helps some of you guys. But yeah, I like this shiny cardboard adventure journey thing, hanging out with you guys, making videos, helping you. Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this is helpful. Jesus loves you. I really believe that. I hope you know that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.